Some coins seem ordinary at first glance, jingling around in your pocket or sliding unnoticed into a vending machine. But a few of them, tucked away quietly in change jars or old collections, are hiding astonishing stories and serious value. Today, we're looking at two American quarters that, for the sharp-eyed collector or the lucky owner, could mean more than just 25 cents. We'll dive into the fascinating world behind the Maine and Wisconsin state quarters, and what could make a humble quarter worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Let's start with the Maine state quarter. Issued in 2003, Maine's design is one of the more visually striking of the 50 state quarters program. It features the Pemaquid Point Lighthouse, a rugged schooner, and a granite coastline, classic symbols of Maine's maritime heritage. At first glance, it might seem like just another pretty design in the series, but certain details and minting quirks have made specific Maine quarters incredibly sought after by collectors today. The Maine quarter was minted at both Philadelphia and Denver, with the P and D mint marks respectively, and while the basic mintage numbers were quite high, over 217 million struck in Philadelphia and around 225 million in Denver. The real magic lies in the low population mint errors and ultra-high-grade specimens that have surfaced over the years. One of the key identifying features collectors look for is the extremely high-quality strike. Finding a Maine quarter in true mint state 68 or higher is surprisingly tough. Many coins from both mints have slight abrasions, weak strikes, or minor planchet flaws. It's the crisp, sharply detailed quarters, free from contact marks, that set themselves apart. And it's these high-grade coins that have fetched impressive prices at auction. Speaking of value, let's get into some real numbers. A Maine state quarter graded MS68 by PCGS or NGC can command between $400 to $800 depending on the demand at the time of sale. But the true unicorns, coins graded MS69, have pushed past $2,000 at public auction. The highest auction records often involve coins with the cleanest surfaces and strongest strikes, and with state quarters being a mass circulation series, true top-condition coins are exceedingly rare. Interestingly, there are also a handful of well-documented error coins for Maine, including off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even double denominations, like quarters struck over dimes. One famous example is a Maine quarter struck over a 2000 P South Carolina quarter planchet. Errors like that don't just happen every day, and when they surface, they can demand premiums into the thousands. Error collecting is a passionate niche within numismatics, and Maine quarters with dramatic errors sit right at the crossroads of beauty, rarity, and intrigue. Another fascinating story tied to the Maine quarter concerns the lighthouse itself. Pemaquid Point is one of Maine's most photographed and beloved landmarks, and it carries deep local pride. When the design was proposed, there was a bit of a stir among residents who wanted to ensure the depiction was respectful and historically accurate. Even tiny elements, like the shape of the lighthouse tower and the placement of the light beam, were debated before the final design was locked in. That kind of attention to detail shows just how much these coins meant to the communities they represented, and why collectors feel such a strong connection to them today. Now, when it comes to condition-based value variations, the differences are dramatic. A Maine quarter pulled from circulation, even if it looks relatively clean to the naked eye, usually won't grade higher than MS63 or MS64, and at that point, it's still basically worth face value or a slight premium to a collector filling an album. But if you manage to find an uncirculated roll or a coin that's been carefully preserved, grading out at MS67 or MS68, the story changes. Registry set collectors, people who assemble the best graded sets possible, will pay handsomely to upgrade even one slot. In some cases, upgrading from MS67 to MS68 could mean a 10x value increase. One thing that's important to understand about these high-end coins is how razor-thin the margins are between grades. A tiny tick mark in the field, an almost invisible scuff across the schooner's sails, or a faint rub on the lighthouse can drop a coin from a $1,500 prize down to a $100 piece instantly. Professional grading is critical for these kinds of coins. Trying to judge with the naked eye alone can be deceiving, even for experienced collectors. And just to add an extra twist, some Maine state quarters have popped up in satin finish from 2005 mint sets. These satin finish coins are an entirely different animal. specially treated, with a smoother, almost matte-like texture that distinguishes them from regular business strikes. They are collectible in their own right, and high-grade examples command healthy premiums, though the highest values usually stick with traditional, brilliant, uncirculated business strikes. All this means the next time you come across a Maine quarter, whether it's tucked in the bottom of a drawer or sitting in a coin roll, it's absolutely worth a closer look. A simple, sharp-eyed check could uncover a hidden gem, a tiny piece of American history that's quietly waiting to reward the person who knows what to look for. Now, while the Maine quarter tells a story of strong maritime pride and silent, hidden value, our next coin adds a bit of agricultural mystery and controversy into the mix, one that shook the collecting community and still raises eyebrows today. The Wisconsin State Quarter, released in 2004, came with a design that seemed innocent enough: a cow, a wheel of cheese, and an ear of corn, symbolizing the state's rich agricultural history. It was a friendly, straightforward design that felt right at home among the other state quarters celebrating local pride. But not long after these coins entered circulation, sharp-eyed collectors and even casual change checkers began to notice something strange, something that would turn this humble coin into one of the most famous error stories of the entire series. The normal design of the Wisconsin quarter shows a single ear of corn with neat, regular husks surrounding it. But a handful of these quarters, minted in Denver, appeared to show an extra leaf on the left side of the corn. Not just one variation, either. Two distinct extra leaf varieties emerged, one with a high, upward curving leaf and another with a lower, more rounded extra leaf. These came to be known as the extra high leaf and extra low leaf varieties, and from that moment, the Wisconsin State Quarter wasn't just another commemorative coin, it became a phenomenon. Naturally, the big question everyone wanted answered was, how did this happen? Was it intentional sabotage by a mint worker? An accidental die gouge? Some experts believe it may have been a deliberate act, slipping through unnoticed, while others argue it could have been the result of an overzealous die polishing or accidental re-engraving. To this day, the mystery hasn't been definitively solved, and that unsolved quality only adds to the fascination. Now, if you're wondering just how rare these extra leaf quarters really are, the answer depends a lot on condition and specific variety. Estimates suggest that tens of thousands of these error quarters were released into circulation, primarily in the Midwest, particularly around Wisconsin, naturally, but also bleeding into surrounding states. That's not a massive number compared to the hundreds of millions of normal Wisconsin quarters struck, but it's enough that patient collectors still occasionally turn one up. As for identifying them, it's relatively straightforward, no magnifying glass needed. On a normal Wisconsin quarter, the left side of the corn is smooth and undisturbed. On the extra high leaf variety, you'll see a prominent extra leaf jutting upward from the base of the ear of corn, almost like a little flag waving. On the extra low leaf version, there's a thick, curved extra leaf drooping downward toward the wheel of cheese. Once you know what to look for, the difference jumps out. Now let's talk dollars, because this is where things get really exciting. In circulated condition, an extra leaf Wisconsin quarter might fetch anywhere from $150 to $300, depending on eye appeal. But in higher mint state grades, the value skyrockets. An MS-65 example often sells for $800 to $1,200. Push it to MS-66, and you're looking at coins regularly trading for $2,000 to $3,500 or more at auction. The absolute top of the line, coins graded MS-67, have crossed the $6,000 mark, with some specimens pushing even higher if the surfaces are exceptionally clean and the strike is sharp. Auction history is filled with wild stories about these coins. In one case, a Wisconsin extra high leaf quarter graded MS-67 by PCGS sold for an eye-popping $6,738. Another MS-66 specimen fetched $2,530. That's an incredible return for a coin that might have once passed through a fast food drive-thru unnoticed. One of my favorite stories is about a man in Arizona who found one in his change after buying a soda at a gas station. He had a habit of checking every quarter he got, and when he spotted the odd leaf, he looked it up and realized he was holding a four-figure coin in his hand. That simple moment of attentiveness turned loose change into a small fortune. And he's not the only one. Plenty of similar finds have been reported over the years, proof that even today, these coins are out there, hiding in plain sight. Condition, of course, plays a critical role in the value of a Wisconsin extra leaf quarter. Coins that have been in circulation, picking up bag marks, surface rubs, and other signs of wear, drop sharply in value compared to pristine mint state examples. Even a beautiful circulated coin, with a sharp strike and full details, might only command a few $100s, while a gem-quality uncirculated one could be worth 20 times that much. One important tip for anyone hunting these quarters: because they're all from the Denver Mint, make sure you're looking at coins with the D mint mark under the date. Philadelphia minted Wisconsin quarters haven't shown any confirmed extra leaf varieties, at least not yet. So if you see a P, you can move on quickly. Focus your attention where it counts. It's also worth noting that the coin market, especially for error varieties like these, can fluctuate depending on public awareness and media coverage. When news stories about the Wisconsin quarter hit back in 2005, prices spiked wildly because everyone was searching for them. Over time, the frenzy cooled a little, but the solid underlying collector demand for certified, high-grade specimens has kept prices consistently strong. This isn't a flash-in-the-pan coin. It's a modern classic in error collecting circles. And let's not overlook how the Wisconsin quarter added a sense of drama and excitement to the state quarters program overall. Until then, the series had produced some interesting coins, sure, but nothing quite like the buzz created by a genuine, major variety error. It injected energy into the hobby and got more people looking carefully at their pocket change. It showed that even new coins could hold secrets, and even a simple farm scene could carry a hidden surprise. Another little twist: some extra leaf coins show minor additional die variations or doubling, creating subvarieties within the main extra high and extra low categories. Specialists sometimes hunt for particularly strong examples or hybrid types, though these niche differences haven't impacted the broader market much yet. Still, if you're a serious variety hunter, it's an extra layer of challenge and fun. So in the end, the Wisconsin State Quarter isn't just a tribute to cows, cheese, and corn. It's a reminder that treasure hunting is still alive, even in the most mundane places. It's a testament to the power of observation, patience, and a little bit of luck. And it proves that even a small, everyday object, a 25-cent piece of change, can carry an enormous story and an even bigger reward. Today, both the Maine and Wisconsin quarters stand out among collectors for very different reasons. One for its beauty and scarcity in high grade, the other for its mysterious and valuable mint error. They each remind us why coin collecting is such a fascinating pursuit. It's part history, part art, part detective work, and part pure chance. Every coin has a story. Sometimes, that story is worth a lot more than anyone ever imagined.